Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Happy Feliz Quarta-feira. Hope everyone's having a good week so far, midway through. A couple things I want to mention. First, I'll talk about today's sessions, bench day. Wednesdays are normally bench day. Pretty happy with how today went down. 5 sets of 5 at 185 on the close grip bench press. And then 3 sets of 10 at 135 after. Everything went well. No surprises, no hiccups. Things felt good. Shoulders felt as good as they're gonna feel. Bar speed was good. All good stuff. Feel like I'm slowly making some progress on bench. Some weeks are better than others, but anyhow, good session. And I'll get to accessories after I make this video. 2 things I wanted to talk about. First one's going to be the clickbait title I'm going to stick on this video, which is I made a huge mistake today. What mistake did I make? I make a mistake every hour, but the mistake I made is that I started warming up with the wrong barbell. And the barbell I put on the rack was the B&R Barbell that I bought from Rogue 10 years ago. Instead of the Ohio Power Bar that I usually use for bench. So I use that just for the sets at 45, the warm-up sets, and then I switched to the Ohio Power Bar after that. Reason why I said I made a huge mistake is because I forget how good the grip is on that B&R bar. It is absolutely fantastic grip. It's not as rough of a knurl, but it's something about that knurl it's splendid. It's a bare chromoly steel bar. Whatever they did with the knurl on that bar, it sticks. It's like Velcro, but it doesn't hurt. The power bar is a much more harsh, coarse knurl, but the coating I got when I got the coating, and never been super happy with it, but I think the coating doesn't help. So the reason why I say it's a huge mistake is because now I'm just thinking, man, should I buy another bare steel barbell? You could either do bare steel or bare stainless steel. You know, then my mind starts spinning around like, oh yeah, let me go buy another barbell and spend, I don't know how much they are now, $400, $500, $600 to get a decent barbell. That was a huge mistake. But just wanted to remark, if you're out there shopping around, that's a good barbell. The bare steel barbells are nice. They have an extra grip to them that the coated barbells just don't seem to have. And that knurl in particular, whatever it is that Rogue puts on that B&R barbell, it's sublime. It's fantastic. Doesn't beat up your hands too much, but it just seems to grip so well. All right, that was the huge mistake. Move on to one other thing, and then I'm going to be done. So I've been talking the last couple days about random stuff. So I'm kind of using this as like a vlog, right? Or as a video log, as it were, this YouTube channel. And partly because I just feel it's important to share my experience of doing home gym stuff over the last decade, on top of just being a guy who's lifted weights for like 3 decades. So the one thing I want to just talk about, and I've probably talked about it before, but logging is important. So I think it's important to log your lifts daily. Now the first step of logging is just writing something down in some sort of diary, journal, whatever you want to call it. Writing it down, taking notes of where you're at and where you're going, that kind of stuff. It allows you to plan, it allows you to learn, a lot of good stuff, right? It's just record keeping. So that's the basics. The thing I would say on top of that, if you can find one, and they are getting scarce now, which is an unfortunate reality of kind of the way the internet is headed, which is a topic I could spend way too long on. But if you can find an old form that allows you to log, great place to go. Especially, hopefully it's still got some activity there. It's just, it allows you to integrate with another group of like-minded people, hopefully like-minded people, in terms of that they're there to lift and get stronger or get healthier, whatever it may be. And then along the way, you kind of share those experiences. So a lot of the things that prime the topics that I discuss on these videos, they come from me logging or reading other people's logs or discussions that we have on the forum about just, you know, day-to-day things. And a lot of those things do loop into what we do in the gym. You know, when I talk about stuff like mental health, those voices in my head, or weight loss, or things like that, the things that help me deal with that a lot of times are, you know, exercise and nutrition, taking better care of myself. So, you know, logging, I think is prime importance in terms of a key to success when it comes to fitness stuff. Again, it can be private. You can do it on your own. There's a lot to be learned there. But I do think there's an extra added dimension, and a very useful dimension of feedback when you can find an online community that allows you to, you know, just chat about, hey man, this session didn't go so well, hey man, this session went really well, or look at what other people are doing, what they're struggling with, what successes they're having, all that kind of stuff. They are fantastic places to learn about lifting in reality. We see lots of things out there in terms of lifting. Like, here's a basic, you know, beginner's program, here's an intermediate program, advanced program, you know, you use this kind of, you know, this kind of progression, or, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, all this noise of things that sometimes work and sometimes don't. And so the nice thing about logs, especially when they're like these public logs on these forums, is that people try these things and they talk about these things. They talk about what went well and what didn't go so well, or it's evidenced in their lifts. There's been times that, you know, I've read logs in the past on other forums that were nothing but the person comes in and journals their session, and that's it. So you're like, well, what's there to learn now? I mean, after time, you get a time series of this is what they've been doing. This is the lift, this is the weights and the reps, blah, blah, blah. You start to see the scheme that they're running. Then you can start to see whether or not they're progressing. You know, you can kind of see where they're going. Now, it's not the whole story. You don't know what their nutrition is like. You don't know what their sleep's like. You don't know what the rest of their life is like. But you can kind of say, okay, this thing seems to work, it doesn't seem to work. And that's what bare bones, just weights, sets, reps. That's it. All the added information, like, you know, this was a struggle today, or I've been eating more, or I've been eating less, or I've been on, whatever it may be. These now put extra context into what that person's programming, how it's working. So yeah, that is the laboratory of life, as it were, in context of lifting. These logs are fantastic places to, again, interact with other people, share experiences, and learn about what works best for them, things you might want to think about, and just it's overall a great resource. I guarantee that if you were to find a community like that, if you haven't found one, most people watch this video already found one, but if you haven't, go find one, and I guarantee you're going to figure out how to program what's best for you. It's not going to be fast. There's no shortcuts. There's no instant, you know, recipe for success there. But you're going to have the ability to look at all these different programs, look at how people interact with the programs, how they execute the programs, and then their successes and failures. So, you know, you can pay a lot of money and you can talk to coaches, and they do help. I'm not saying that these things are useless or not worth the money, but all I'm saying is that if you're willing to invest the effort, the time, and share your own story and work and talk with others, there's a lot to be learned online in these communities that are getting harder and harder to find, but they do exist, and I encourage you to go find one if you don't have one already. All right, that's enough talk for today. It's a great day. Hope everyone else finishes out the week on a high note, as it were, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, peace.